Hey everybody, it's me. I'm back, at least for a little while. Sorry, I don't eat making videos, my bad. I find that rude. Let me put that away. Alright, so here I am at a rest stop in West Virginia, waiting to go to my next pickup. But that's beside the point. So last week turned out fairly decent. I didn't make my average because I went home, but looking over the 3 weeks of my stay out that we decided to do to make me get to my average, I was only about $50 shy per week to get to my average, which is like almost three times what I was making as a company driver, because I wasn't making squat at the end there. I mean, my average was $850, but I was making a lot less than that before I took off and came over to this side. And it's almost double what I was making at the company before I came here. Needless to say, still got to put your taxes away and so on. Same thing as always. Same routine every time. Take your taxes and throw them off to the side and throw like 20% over there, because even though you have a bunch of write-offs, it's better be safe than sorry. You're going to have to file quarterly. My business name is now official, but they're going to be waiting on the paperwork at the IRS. Just mailed that out. When was it? Yesterday or day before yesterday. My wife mailed it out for me because I wasn't going to be home. I had to be sent certified mail. Just do all that stuff before you get in here, because I'm going to have to pay $400 to rewrite the contract once everything gets taken care of. So unless you want to rewrite the contract. Got done shining my rims today. They look like crap, but I don't know if I should have, because I'm going in and out of rain. But best I can do right now. I didn't have nothing to do for about 2 hours there, so I figured, what the heck, better than sitting on Facebook or some other stupid nonsense. Been bouncing around everywhere. I came up to West Virginia, which was a mistake. Ran a load from one of our people up to West Virginia and then couldn't find my way back. I actually had a load starting to bring me back, but I had to drop it because I got to one of our customers that every now and then likes to be overweight, and when they aren't always loaded correctly. So I spoke with the people inside, and he said that they actually have old timers that stage the loads, and the new people are supposed to load them the way they're staged, but they'll pick it and load it the way they see fit, which screws up the loading pattern. So I was a little over in the rear. I could have ran it. There wasn't any scales on the way. But I could have ran it. But I didn't. And I had them rework it, so that cost me 3 hours there. But it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm running low on hours. I had them pull that off of me because I told them I didn't know how long it was going to take. I probably could have kept it, come to think of it, but I went back in there and it was gone. No big deal. I rounded up a couple of short runs in Virginia. One to bounce me from West Virginia to wherever, and then one from West Virginia to Virginia, and then I want to get back to Ohio or Indiana or Indianapolis. I'm sorry, Indianapolis isn't Indiana. Stupid. Illinois, Ohio, Indiana, around them areas where I run. And the next one goes back to where I'm picking up today, even though there's a big delay in time. I couldn't find nothing for Saturday, so I'm going to use that 5 hours to run back to where I'm at now and grab another load from them and run it to Ohio, and then run from Ohio to Michigan, and don't know where I'm going from there yet. But it shouldn't turn out too bad. All I need is one more trip to make my average, and it can be a $400 trip with $100 in gas, and I'll make the average that I've been shooting for. It won't be the 4K or 5K club that everybody asks for, but it's I don't care about that. It's not about making a club. It's about making the revenue you need to survive. I make the revenue I need to more than survive. So we shoot for extra, and that way when our plans come through, we'll be able to work it. I'm gonna have to round up a dash cam. I still haven't got one yet. I was gonna run to Walmart. I ran out of time when I ran home. I only had like 34 hours, and then I took off and staged myself for this week. But some guy rubbed my mirror yesterday, or day before yesterday. I was at a truck stop. I had just got done eating and came back out to my truck and sat in there and watched this guy. He was so close, and he rubbed my West Coast mirror. So I stopped him, but you got to think, if I hadn't been there, that mirror could have very well been ripped completely off of my truck, and that's not legal technically. So I wouldn't have drove with it like that, and then I would have had to drop my loads. So, because the Pilot that I was parked at did not have a bay that would have fixed something like that, I would have had to find a way to get it. But it was a weekday, so it shouldn't have been too hard. Those of you thinking about used trucks, you might want to think again. My buddy with his 14 Kenworth has been in shop again for clutch problems this time. They cleaned all the junk out of his vehicle and got all the grease out and took it for a test drive, and he needs a clutch now. So he's been in a hole ever since he started working for us. He might not be with us much longer. He's just about ready to can it. Shut up. Stupid GPS keeps talking to me. What else? I don't know. Ain't nothing else really. I mean, I might do a reset after my third load on Monday, just to give me 70 hours. But I like to be able to have however many hours I need if I find something good that's going to take me a day and a half to run, so I can run it. And I'm going to be way down on my hours. And since I drove only 2 hours to stage myself on Sunday, I'm only going to get 2 hours back on my 8. And I don't care. It ain't gonna matter. I mean, it's down a day, but technically you lose more hours than that running running on recap. So either way, it doesn't matter. I make my money. And the 7 days we made what we wanted to make. So of course that's going to drop me down to 6, because that's going to eat into my Tuesday. But other than that, it's all good. I think it'll be okay for this week. This is week 1 out, so 2 more weeks to go after that, unless I get something super big and delicious and make what I want to make and then some. But coming out of the house wasn't so bad this time. I grabbed a load, and I mean, it looked like slim pickings. And I looked at a few of the states in the Midwest area. So Midwest is a good place to run, like I said before. They got the majority of the trips. I looked further west towards California and all, and they got lower amounts of trips. Georgia area's got lower amounts, but it was just one day I looked. I haven't done a lot of research on what days we have certain trips. I did look at one where going from like Worcester to someplace else, I marked them as favorites just to see that the way they rolled, because they were on unconfirmed. And those must be some of the coveted loads, because they went pretty quick. They lit up, said they were ready. I wasn't anywhere near. I couldn't have got it anyway, but I just wanted to see if they actually confirmed, because I've been seeing some loads out there that didn't confirm. And I wanted to know if those were them. I knew where one of them was going because I've been there before, and I figured where the other one was going because I believe it's the same customer. But, yep. Bam, bam, they were gone. And then the load, there was a third one I had favorited that was going to get me back to Indiana. That thing was gone as well. It was a good rate, though. So I was just shooting for getting the heck out of there and getting back to where the money is, because there ain't nothing in Virginia. It's all mountains. It's killing me. I had 18 in the box, and I still only got 7.5 miles per gallon, even though I was going right down the road. Like 3 hours, 4 hours. I'm not happy about that. But, and the other issue is, I just drove through Pennsylvania for several hundred miles. Not several hundred. I can only imagine what kind of tax I'm going to have to pay on it. It wasn't several hundred. It was maybe 60 or 70. I don't know what the IFTA rate is if you don't fuel up in Pennsylvania. I know they're ridiculously high. So hopefully cowboy boots and a pair of shorts and a wife beater. I know I'm in... Oh, I'm not even going to say nothing. That's generalizing the state that you're in, and they don't all look like that. Although I am in the backwoods area, I guess. I don't know. Not sure. Yeah, and there was a road now. I had 2 detours last week. Well, I don't know if you call it last. It was this week. So, always check your trips before you take off. And especially in, where was it, Ohio, because apparently they don't know what a detour sign means. So, usually when you get a detour sign, it's like detour this way, and then when it says detour there, it says take a right, take a left, detour that way, detour for this highway this way, or this highway this way. So I was going to one of our customers, and the big sign that they can manually program from somewhere else said detour on 38, whatever it was. 38 closed, detour up ahead. So I passed one detour sign with a little 38 straight up, right by an exit. So I presume that means this isn't the detour. The detour is straight ahead still. I passed another one, even though my GPS told me I was supposed to go that way. Not Jill, Randy, because I had already programmed Randy. Next exit, straight up. Next exit was the exit the detour was on. You can't go that way. Got off the exit, went right. Road closed up ahead, about a quarter mile from my turn. So, you know what? Just put some steel plates on the ground and let me drive over them so I can make my road. Come on, man. Give me a break. I don't even know what was the problem because I couldn't get all the way in there, but ridiculousness. So apparently in Ohio, if there's a detour sign on the highway and it's got a straight up, that's the exit you need to take for your detour. So I had to follow it in and then follow it back out. And I followed my navigation system on the way back out, not Jill. And it took me on some backcountry roads that were nice and skinny, and they made my stability control that's in these new P4s, they made that thing sick because it decided to say stability control out of order. It did it on the way in. I was like, well, let's see. And I tried turning my truck on and off about 5 times. It didn't do anything. Once I got to the guard shack, though, and it ran for a few minutes before I left the facility, it had gone away. And on the way back to the highway, because I had to go through them 8 miles of them back roads again, and the whole thing was like the whole time on these roads because, they're not made for rigs and they've been run over so many times that they aren't stable. She was lurching here and there, just enough to act stupid. It's the computer set to a certain algorithm of motion and it apparently exceeded that motion when it was going up and down, right and left, and it just said, "Screw you, I quit." And it came on again, and sure enough, I was able to stop somewhere after I got out of there, because I had to wait to go to my next pickup for, I don't know, a short while, and started it back up, and it was gone. So if you ever have that problem, it'll go away. You just got to get back on some regular roads, not them stupid backwoods country roads. And it's like, it was crazy because the speed limit was 55 and I could only do about 35 to 40 because it was left, right, left, up a huge hill. It was like a roller coaster, man. It was insane. I went up this huge hill, and this is, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's pitch black out there. I climb over this hill. You couldn't see nothing. And it was just a straight drop. I felt like I was on a roller coaster. I was like, I can only imagine if you don't live there what it's going to be like coming up in there in a car. Great roads for driving an MG Midget on, though, and that would have been fun. Booking at about 60 miles an hour on that road. Anyway, so, and then the other detour was, I happened to, on my drop this morning, I happened to look at Waze before I took off, because I hadn't looked at, I looked at the location to see what the parking was like and how to get in there, but I didn't look at the roads. I wasn't expecting anything, but there was one where I zoomed out. I looked at it on Waze because they seem to have a better idea of what roads are actually shut down, and the road that both of them had me turning on that was a block away from my drop was blocked. It was shut completely down. It's like a quarter-mile stretch of road. So Jill won't let you detour. So I went and hit detour on mine. Apparently it didn't take properly because I went there a different way. It cost me 8 extra miles. And the other detour was 18 miles, so I had to pay extra 36 miles worth of gas on the other one. This one was 8 miles, and had to go around the town again just to get back to the stretch that I needed to be at to get into the area where the warehouse was at. But anyway, that's about it, guys. I don't have nothing else really. I mean, my revenue was, well, let me add that to this. Let me fix this. All right, so revenue was last week was $35.0711 on 2,484 miles, which was $1.41 a mile. Week before was approximately $1.37 a mile. Week before that was approximately $1.74 a mile. I was just learning the week before that, and I don't know, maybe I'm trying a little bit too hard, but I'm trying to stay in a certain area. Of course, the week before that, the first week was like 2,783 miles. I'm actually bringing my mileage down, which is what I want to do. I don't want to go over 2,500 really, because if you go over a certain amount, then you're going to be over the amount that your lease is allowed. Your lease allows 150,000 miles per year, and I only have like right at 2,500 to maintain the 150K a year. So I'm trying to bring my mileage down while bringing my revenue up, and I think I'm actually gonna get good at it this week. We'll know for sure by the end of the week. I'll meet my quota, which means I'll have actually increased my revenue to almost where I want it to be, I think. You know, it's all an experiment for me. Still learning my lanes, still working it all. I know it takes like 6 months or so to learn everything. I think I've grasped on faster than some of these other people. We have other people out there that are struggling at about $1.15 or $1.20 a mile. I don't know how. I can tell you this: I couldn't survive on that. I mean, I could, but I mean, that's breaking even. And they started well before I did. They started in January or February, which they've had 4 months experience, and they're just now saying that. So they're 6 months in, and they're running at $1.15 a mile. They should have got the hang of it by now. So least I could say is, if you do something like this and you're having problems, contact somebody that has been at it for a little while. And sorry, dead fruit fly, I don't know where that sucker came from. Maybe my grapes I got over here, I don't know. So contact somebody that is willing to mentor you and help you learn the lanes. If you're working with Schneider, there's a few of them. I mean, get on the owner-operator page, or there's another lease operator page, IC choice board page, I believe. Someone on that page there's lots of people willing to help and help teach you what you need to know to get to where you got to get to. James DeJong, Big Rig CEO, is a good one. He will help you learn what you need to know, pretty much free of charge. A lot of these guys are free of charge. You can contact Big Rig Radio Network, but he charges the consulting fee. Now, he has left a lot of his videos up. You have to dig through his stuff from when he used to work for us, but he's also got a lot of videos of the newer stuff, from starting his own company, lease purchase advice versus ownership advice, buying new versus used, and starting your own, and so on. Big Rig CEO will post his revenue for the week on how many miles he made. He's been slacking a little bit lately, but he's had things to do, personal things to do. Watch his videos, you'll figure it out. It's not my business to tell other people's business. Other than that, I mean, this is going to be a good week. I'll try and post early on, because I'm going to do a reset like Tuesday. I'll try and post a video on Tuesday on what is going on. I don't really have much else, but I did do a couple of live load, live unload. So I'm going to do a live load now, which is supposedly going to take an hour. I just got done with a live unload that took 2 hours. It was actually correct. Other than the rework I had to go through, I haven't really done anything else on those lines. I don't really have a problem doing them. They don't hurt me that much, because, I mean, you know, I'm only going to drive 6, 7, 8 hours a day, or try to, once I get it down pat. And then maybe I don't have to do a reset on the road. I don't really care either way. I mean, do it, don't do it, it doesn't matter. If the money's there, then won't have to do it. If the money's not there, I might have to do it, lay over a day and a half just to wait on another trip to pop up. But I don't want to do that, because that eats into your daily rate. You want to sit down and do, best idea is to sit down and get your number for your daily rate. Take all your home expenses, or if you do it the way I did it, take what you would have gotten paid. That's what I do. That's what I did, because I'm used to living off of this amount of my paycheck. So added this amount of my paycheck, added to my truck payment expenses, plus and leave that like that, and then take that and divide it by how many days you plan on working. And first getting out here is going to have to be at least 6, more than likely, sometimes 7, to make it all work out. So because your gas is not a fixed expense, it's not always wise to add that into that cost. What you do is, once you know your gas price, otherwise take an estimate of what you think it's going to run. This P4, I can run 36 to 38 cents a mile. I put mine at 36 because I know that's what I can do, because I was running 38 and now I'm running approximately 36. And I actually think it's going down. It's been doing a lot better lately. So, yes, praise your dog for taking a poop. So, do the daily and fixed expenses, and then just do a guesstimate. I put my fixed expenses down, and it's like I need $500 a day. I'm doing 19 days out, so I took all my expenses, multiplied it by 3 because that's 3 weeks out, and then divided by the 19 days I plan on being out, because I plan on being home 2 days, which didn't work out last time. I was home for like a day and a half, but you know, it happens. Still learning the ropes. I ain't sweating it. And it come out to like $500 a day, not including gas, because gas is a expense that varies depending on your weight and other variables. So you can take that amount, $500, and then take, say, because I was running straight through, I should have made it to 18 days because, or 17 days, 18, because there's a reset. I know at least one reset going to be in there. It's going to cost me a day and a half, but you got to take 10 off anyway. The only thing you're losing is 24 hours technically. So take that, find a good trip you like, rate looks good, take the mileage to the trip, take the mileage that the trip takes you 100 miles to get to the trip, and then takes you, say, 900 miles to get to the drop location. So you got 1,000 miles at 38 cents a mile, depending on what kind of vehicle you got. Some of these suck gas worse than others, but we get a good discount. 38 cents a mile on 1,000 miles is $380. Say the trip is $1,000. Okay, that's $1 a mile. It'll be more than that. Okay, so say it's $2 a mile for the trip itself. No. Say it averages out to $2 a mile. It's not quite. It's $2 and some change, but after the trip, the 100 miles to get to the pickup and the 900 to get to the drop, it averages out to $2 a mile. So it pays $2,000 for the trip minus your $380. You got $1,620. Okay, 900 miles. I can do that in 2 days. 2 days for, what did I say? $380, $1,620. That's 3+ days worth of labor, work, whatever you want to call it. 3+ days worth of revenue for 2 days worth of work. So you're already 1 day ahead, but don't take it for granted. Keep working it and working it and working it, and just do the same thing with every single trip you do. Plain and simple, man. I don't know if I can give any advice on any of that, but questions, comments, hit that like button if you like it, hit the don't like if you don't like it, subscribe, and tell all your friends, tell all your friends that there's this guy out there that's looking for more viewers. No, I ain't worried about it, man. I'm just putting these out here to put them out here. Maybe help me keep track of my own stuff too, if I ever want to look back and see, what did I say? Which I haven't done yet. Anyway, y'all keep the left door closed, keep the hammer down.